ahead and leave that off.
Right.
And just enough throttle for just above idle. So
couple hundred more or so.
You just hear it, and then that's it. Just leave it right there.
All right, I'm going to...
Okay, taking the rotor
traffic,
lock off and pushing forward.
89er Delta Charlie's maneuvering 7,500.
All right,
2 miles to the southwest of the field. Center traffic.
Yep, there you go. Go ahead.
Slow pre-rotate to 60.
Yep.
Full forward stick.
It's just a little harder. There you go. Up 60.
All right, full
Yeah,
squeeze.
Full squeeze. Still holding it forward.
Get to 90. I'm going to go back to level.
Yeah, we'll wait for 100.
100, I'm saying.
Okay, coming up. There's middle. Waiting for 120. We'll come all the way back at 120.
There we are, 120 full rate.
Yeah, we should be able to get to about 140 here before we add very much throttle. Okay, adding enough throttle for a fast walk.
Okay.
A little more, a little more, a little more. There you go, release the pre-rotator.
Spanish traffic, terminal 219 Delta, south to west mountain, 10,500 maneuvering.
Okay, you can go ahead and go to full throttle.
Spanish traffic, Wolf 11 is east of West Mountain, about to those towers at 6,500 feet.
There's the 9 Delta, look out for the Wolf traffic, should be no factor for 9 Delta.
Thank you.
Nice when the air's cool, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Spanish traffic, 91 Whiskey's about 2 miles directly south of West Mountain, inbound for Spanish, looking for traffic, level at 7,000.
Spanish Fork traffic, Gyroplane 247 Alpha Whiskey just departed runway 12 will be southbound along I-15.
Oh, yeah, performs much better at these temperatures. Wow.
Yeah.
Difference is
And the
obvious.
traffic that's close to West Mountain at 6,500 feet, we'll go ahead and stay on the west side of the freeway for that inbound traffic.
That 247 Alpha Whiskey will be the right side of the freeway as we head south.
Well, how much difference between those bugs off the
Oh,
motor
it's
main.
huge too, yeah. Today, let's see what we get for air density. 6520, so, you know, it's another 1,000 feet lower.
Yeah.
But that's nice. In the winter, you know, we'll be 4,500 feet density altitude because of the temperature. So it's pretty nice.
Spanish traffic, Seminole 2198 Delta, we're just east of the towers on West Mountain. 10,500 maneuvering, Spanish.
Well, it's certainly climbing better than yesterday. Then again, I have a couple hundred more RPM than I did yesterday.
That makes a big difference too.
Go below us and we're just staying at 7,500.
Right.
Spanish traffic, Cherokee 79 Whiskey, level at 7,400, inbound to land Spanish. We're about 1 mile east of West Mountain, inbound.
Mile east, so he's just on the other side of, no, he's just on this side of West Mountain. Haven't seen him yet. Feels good this morning.
I'm playing around that slight yaw you were talking about, feeling the different wind pressures in the
Yeah, so
cabin.
what I do is I kind of just roll the cabin until it's just level. There you go. Then just step on your feet to just get the wind out of the cabin, just barely.
Yeah, I can sure tell the difference.
Yeah.
There and there.
I still haven't seen our Cherokee, but maybe that's a good thing. just level off here at 5,400, or 5,500, excuse me, right there. Just let the nose down a hair, and yeah, I'd bring it back to like 5,100 or something.
Okay.
7,500, about a mile southwest of Spanish Airport, maneuvering.
That's good.
Traffic just reported in 901 Whiskey. We're about in your same area. We're also about 7,500 looking for traffic. We do not have visual on you. We're inbound to land direct for Spanish.
We're about a mile to the north of 15 and a mile to the west of the airport. I got you inside. You're right in front of us.
That's not helpful.
That was close.
For his ass, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, because if you say you're right in front of us, you could be anywhere, right? That's not helpful information.
Spanish traffic, Cherokee 79 Whiskey, crossing midfield, descending through 7,000. I'll enter downwind for 1-2.
Unless he screams as he says it. Oh, gosh.
That means really right in front of us. Having to apply a little bit of right pressure all the time, so to trim that, I would...
Well, I think it's the rudder.
Okay.
Spanish traffic, Cherokee
Yeah, we just need to adjust that
for 1-2.
little tab that's on the back of on the stabilizer to be just giving you just a little bit more right pedal.
Okay.
And then it would be fixed, I think.
Okay.
But if you're always rolling left, yeah, you'd want to roll this left, but I think it might be pretty close to all the way.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe not. Oops, that's the wrong way. You need to go this way to go left, huh? Let me see.
So the 30 end of the airport.
Yeah, try that. Is that a little better? We can put that other... Oh, we'd have to extend the cable a little bit, so we'd have to replace the other cable if we did it.
500 maneuvering Spanish.
At one of these times we can do it.
Okay.
Back to basin again.
Just Charlie, left downwind for 1-2 Spanish traffic.
Is this accurate? Do you think that's really the direction? Is that far?
Oh, not quite, no.
With the turning final for 1-2.
It shows this as being west right now.
Spanish
I don't think it really is.
1-2.
West is more like that, so maybe this is set to be north up. Yeah, pretty close. That would be north. So then it's showing us, see this is south right here, and it's a little bit southwest.
Yeah.
So it's probably accurate, it's just not pointing the direction you think it should be pointing because it's not, it's...
Maybe up is our heading.
Yeah.
It rotates this to where up is always the way we're headed. That it is.
Yeah, that's the way you'd want it to do it.
Huh.
there's something in my pocket that's interfering with the compass. Because the compass is right under my seat. But if you stick batteries or tools or something down there by it, it'll swing the compass around.
Spanish traffic, Seminole 209 Delta, over the town of Salem, emergency descent. We're descending through 8,300 for 7,500.
It's a little bit behind us. But quite a bit above us. So we're not worried about them. Most aircraft don't fly around down this low. Is good for us.
With the kind of weight we're carrying in these weather conditions.
What's that?
These weather conditions with our weight. If my goal was to see what kind of altitude I could reach, what would you guess? Another couple thousand feet or so?
Well, if we can get probably today with it like it is, you'll probably get up to 8,000 to 10,000 feet, somewhere in that range.
Really?
Yeah. It's nice and cool. Where are we? Density altitude, we're now at 7,400 right now, and we're at 5,500 feet. So we'll probably get another 3,000 feet out of the aircraft today.
Oh.
So that put us at 8,500 feet, something like that.
Oh.
Be reasonable altitude today. Yeah, by yourself, you could go even a little higher, because you're not fully loaded. But, fully loaded, I don't expect you to get much over 10,000 feet. Density altitude.
If that were the case, once we were more than 3,000 AGL, I would have to be concerned about the altitude rules, about even numbers, odd numbers, plus 500, and so on.
Yeah, so
going westerly like we are, or south as we are.
Yeah, but we're within the.
Right now we are. But I mean, if we were up there at 8,500,
sure,
absolutely.
yeah.
About that.
Yeah, so if you're going east, you'd be odd plus 5. If you're going west, you'd be even plus 5.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels good this morning. Wish you could store up some of that cold for later. It's kind of nice to have that kind of temperature change, though. 65, 66 this morning.
Yeah.
It will be, 95 by 5 o'clock.
I think it's actually only forecast about 85 the next couple of days.
Good.
We're going to get some cooler
Cool
weather.
down a little bit. I like it when, it's going to do that here pretty soon.
But it is nice to have the range for my practice to understand the different conditions.
It certainly gives you a feel for change in density altitude during the day. When you go from 70-something to 90-something, your density altitude goes from, somewhere around 6,000 in the morning to somewhere around 7,000, 8,000 in the evening.
Well, it does perform differently.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. I'm still climbing a little bit here.
That's okay. We'll go through the pass, and then you can pick up some speed on the opposite side as you lower it back down again. You can feel the air changing temperature already. Little gusts of warm air come through.
What variety of trees are those thin vertical ones planted around the periphery of that orchard there?
Yeah, those are, I forget their names now. I'll remember it a little bit, but they just plant them as windbreaks.
Not some sort of juniper, is it? Like a...
No, it's like a
poplar? Or?
Yeah, it's a poplar tree. They just sprout right up, and they use them as a big windbreak. The farmers use them quite a bit. You can see they plant them around the edges of their properties.
Relatively fast growing.
Oh yeah, they grow really fast. And just almost straight up, they don't really branch out very much, so they don't provide a lot of shade to the crops, which is, you know, perfect for a farm.
What they want.
They do die out rapidly and fall apart, but they don't care. They just plant another one.
What do you suppose they have growing in the orchards there, if you were guessing?
Well, you got peaches and apples and cherries.
Ah.
The apples, this is an older orchard of apples back here. They got some younger apples on that side. It's easier to tell when you're on the ground than when you're in the air.
Well, amazed that you can tell it all.
Well, the apples have a kind of a reddish bark. Not as red as... Okay, cherry trees have the reddest bark. And then the apple trees are a little bit lighter, paler, reddish bark. And then the peach trees are kind of whiter. Not really white, but lighter colored.
Okay.
And you can really tell by how tall they are a little bit, because the cherry trees will grow the tallest, the peach trees will be the shortest.
Ah.
And then you can tell by how dense they put them too. So, as if you've been around them for a while, it's easy to see the difference. It's like if you hunt, you can recognize what animal it is the minute you see it, but if you don't, then it's like, oh, what is that? Is it an elk, or is it a deer, or is it a moose? You're like, oh, come on, that's a deer. You know. And you can see the peaches in the peach orchard at the moment. You can't really see them individually, but you can see the yellowish fruit on the peach trees. Just a little bit behind us was a bunch of peaches. But they're just about getting ripe, or they all, depending on the variety, they are ripe. And so that's another way you can tell, because they'll have the boxes in the field. So they put the white protectors on the trunks of the peach trees, so they even look whiter than normal, because the sun damages their bark, and they don't do that for apple trees or cherry trees.
Peach, huh?
Yeah.
Spanish traffic, Seminole 498 Delta. We're 3.5 to the southeast of the airport on a 45 for left downwind, descending to 6,000. On a 45 for left downwind, 12. Around right here.
They're behind and to our left, back there.
Yeah, they're going the other direction too, it sounds like.
That's just sand and gravel they're excavating there then, huh, you think?
Yeah, you can see the crushed gravel. And they probably don't have to crush it too hard, because it's all pre-crushed almost.
Came down the mountain once upon a time ago.
Yeah, so that's, the pit run's pretty small, but it looks like they do have a gravel crushing operation over there. And then they just kind of sort. It's different kinds of sand and gravel.
Traffic, Seminole 298 Delta is on a Left downwind, 1-2.
Yeah, they get, right now anyway, where they're building all this cement road, get good money for gravel. When they were having, when the construction was way down and the roads weren't being built, gravel pits were just kind of sitting around doing nothing. But, and a few of them got sold off to housing, which is really sad. That's, $1 million worth of gravel that they had to basically bury.
Wow.
And these guys have their own gravel pit.
That's for traffic. Base, runway 1.
I don't see that this has changed any, so I guess that was just the distance from that airport to the destination.
It should change, but I haven't seen it changing. So let's look at the other. Oh, what? How come it doesn't have the boxes on here? That's interesting. Well, here. Should be that. Oh, wait a minute. It should have come up. It's showing.
That number's been the same the whole time since we left.
It's still showing like as if we weren't moving. And the ground speed shows 0. Something's goofy with the ethos and all the AHRs is off. Maybe. No, it's on. I don't know what's goofy. Transponder was off, but I shouldn't have changed the GPS. I see the GPS is reporting 0 speed. I'm just going to turn it off for a second.
I wonder if we could have disrupted something when we had the cover off.
Oh, it was working yesterday.
Well, then maybe we disrupted something when we were working under the seats
Yeah,
out
maybe.
there.
That's possible. It's showing altitude, it's showing the wrong heading. So maybe we bumped something when we were playing with it. And it's showing 0 on the thing there. Menu. Yeah, it's not showing the satellites being
The GPS not working for some reason.
connected. Well, the antenna just is up here, so it's not even back next to the seats where we were playing yesterday, but it's not. It's showing one satellite that it has a poor signal to, and that's it. Wonder if we knocked it off up front or something. That would be the only place it could be.
The antenna's inside here, huh?
No, it's outside there. Usually it's right on the front. It's right here. So it feels like it's hooked up. But it's not getting any signal, so maybe it's unplugged.
Well,
easy enough to take a look at later.
Track it down, yeah.
It doesn't really know where we are.
That's okay, at least the flight instruments are working.
Yeah. We can take a look at it when we land in Nephi if we want. Just on the outside, we won't open it up or anything.
Okay, speaking of Nephi, is the runway in your eyesight yet?
Yep.
Okay.
Need little water balloons we could try and drop in the empty cars. See how good a bomber you are. And practice with eggs so we can hit Stan at the next.
And our hot air ballooning rallies that we'd have to kind of keep us interested to just sightseeing. We'd have these competitions a couple times a day actually where a lead balloon would take off in advance of a few minutes, set down at some undetermined spot of his choosing, lay out a big cloth X on the ground that maybe was spanned 50 feet or so, and then we would have some little baggies loaded with rice already on board, and our goal was to get as close to the center of that X as we could, and with some practice you could get within feet or even inches sometimes if you're able to swoop down low enough, but oftentimes, if the winds were such that you had to take a higher wind to get to that X, you have to pitch it out from altitude from 700 feet, and then it could go anywhere, but occasionally you get lucky anyway. There's a certain element of luck involved, though, because the winds could change at the last minute, and in spite of your best efforts, you may not end up where you wanted to be.
You put big streamers on them. You can watch it go down. With airplanes, what we do sometimes is we'll dump out a roll of toilet paper over the lake. So you stuff it out the window with your, like 8,000, 8,500 feet. And then you come back and forth and see how many times you can cut it before it hits the water. Because it just unrolls as it goes down.
Okay, I didn't catch the dark gray color from back there, but I appreciate it now, the runway, the new runway.
That's nice and black, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice mowed dead grass around it.
Yeah, usually it's kind of a funny thing, like if you fly into Las Vegas, and you're going into the big airport, what would you expect to see? A whole bunch of lights, right? Oh, a nicely lit up area. It's the darkest place that you ever see in Vegas. It's all black.
Look for the lack of lights.
Yeah, exactly. You look for the big hole.
Big black hole.
And that's the airport.
Then when you get close enough, you see the landing lights and the runway lights.
Yeah, but they're not anything compared to street lights and the casino lights, especially in Vegas. Vegas is the biggest example of that. But other airports are the same. The lack of lights is where the airport is.
Good tip. Okay. See, our ground level's about 300 higher than it was back there, so we're 1,000.
Yeah, we just let it cruise along just the right altitude. This is perfect.
Yeah, we're about 1,000 above ground. Yeah. Less than 3 gallons of fuel, if that's accurate.
It's probably probably not super accurate at the high end. It's probably more accurate as you get toward the bottom. And then right at the bottom, it won't be accurate again because the float hits the bottom, and then there's a little less, there's extra fuel left over, which is okay. We show that as 0, but there's probably, you know, an extra half a gallon sitting in there. But we never want to find out.
I'm basically not applying any rudder pressure at all. Let this thing kind of weather vane.
Yeah, it'll wiggle just a little bit sometimes as the wind hits. You get buffeting air. It's not smooth air coming from the nose.
But if I
and
try,
it'll come across the tail and kind of make the tail wiggle a little bit.
But if I try and add yaw, I can sure feel that wind in one side or the other. So
yeah.
Our best fuel economy is just to let it go where
it just, on this one, it takes just a very slight right to hold it, the nose true. And that's just because that little tab on the tail isn't adjusted quite right.
Okay.
But it's not very much. I mean, you don't need to worry about it. I can tell because when we're flying straight, the cabin is just slightly tilted to the right. So if you put just a little bit of rudder pressure in, then it makes it so that when you feel like you're not turning, it's level. And that's how I feel it.
All right. Okay, I'm looking for signs of wind direction to make sure nothing's changed. Just going through the exercise here. Don't see smoke anywhere. I don't see big bodies of water. Look for ripples.
It looks pretty smooth on that big body of water.
Looking for treetops bending in a certain direction. Don't see much movement there. But whatever it is, there's not much of it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty dang calm this morning.
So, was it 1.5 did you say? 1.7?
1.7.
1.7. So I should be able to just announce a final approach to 1.7 then?
Yeah, so we'll switch the frequency over.
Flip-flop it to...
There you go. 122.8 is what we want. 122.9 is back in Spanish Fork.
Okay.
And then you estimate how far out you are, about 5 miles or so here.
Now this slow-moving aircraft, that's a little premature to announce.
No, that's okay.
Okay. So I would say something to the effect of...
Nephi traffic.
Nephi traffic. Gyroplane 247 Alpha Whiskey bound approximately 5 miles north to 1.7.
Sure.
Something like that. Okay.
Nephi traffic, Gyroplane 247 Alpha Whiskey inbound to the north 4 miles to 1.7.
That'll work.
I probably could have phrased that a little better, but
yeah.
I would have said 4 miles to the north, inbound to 1.7 maybe.
Yeah, I just usually say, so I'd say Nephi area traffic, Gyroplane 247 Alpha Whiskey, X number of miles north, inbound, runway 17.
Okay. You estimate our ground level here is about 4,800, something like that?
Yeah, something close to that.
Okay.